Good afternoon, everybody. This is Scott Allison with the Beyond 280 show, the show where we get behind 280 characters and learn about the people behind the Twitter accounts you love to follow, you hate to follow, you love to hate, you whoever. And the whole idea is really to get at their humanity, to get at these people and get to know their loves, their passions, their pet peeves, what they ate for dinner, just weird stuff like that. So as you know, I do a show here on YouTube and on Facebook. Today I'm only on YouTube, um, and basically talk about Twitter specifically, about showing some empathy for the users on Twitter. Well, today, and then on my Monday show, I normally have just a kind of my worldview perspective of some of the topic du jour that are occurring on Twitter. Today is an impromptu stream, and I just wanted to get out there and talk about it. And well, we all know what happened today. There was some big news. Before I get started, though, and there goes my camera again. Did y'all see that? That was interesting. My camera completely froze. Either way, so there was some big news today. Before I get started, I wanted to quickly share with you the Creators Guild. For those of you who don't know, the Creators Guild.app, that is where new creators can go and join us. Existing creators can go and join us. It's a worldwide community of creators that are live streaming and podcasting and creating videos. It's a great place to learn and trade ideas and content, that sort of thing, as well as the Creator Toolkit, which is also provided by the Impartial Geek, David Foster. It's a free toolkit for us all learning on how to do all this stuff we call live streaming or we call creating. So what's the big deal today? What happened today? Well, today is April 20th. It's 420 for you potheads out there. And today we finally got something, at least, in the sense of, so George Floyd was killed by a police officer last year, and it caused quite a lot of problems. Because it was caught on video, and there was a lot of very upset people, rightly so, that, they were upset, but they weren't rightly so in the sense where they were right to start burning shit down and hurting people and that sort of thing. That's never right. But there were a lot of upset people. And as we know, the officer, Derek Chauvin, was essentially charged with a crime and charged 3 counts. And I don't remember all 3 counts, but he had 3 counts charged against him, and he went to trial. And I think the defense made a pretty, with what they had to go up against, because they were really fighting against the video evidence. But what they had to go against, the evidence that they had in the case really was tough. It was tough to go with. Let's just put it that way. It was definitely tough to go with. And as a result, the verdict came in and Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 charges. So yesterday on my show, I talked specifically about Maxine Waters coming out and saying that there must be a guilty verdict or we must get more confrontational. So there was a guilty verdict. So hopefully that means that people aren't going to get more confrontational. More confrontational than, rioting and burning down stuff and, throwing things at cops and that sort of thing. I really think that that's not going to stop, by the way. I think we're still going to see more of this. But that's neither here nor there. What I wanted to address today was the Twitter reaction to what just happened. We know darn well that Derek Chauvin in some way was responsible for George Floyd's death, right? We know that. We saw it. We all saw it with our own eyes. And the defense argument had to do with the amount of fentanyl in the system and the fact that he had some sort of heart disease or he had a weak heart, and that contributed to his death. That may all well be true, but I think what the prosecution was able to prove was that Derek Chauvin caused that death, and it's unfortunate that I don't mean unfortunate that somebody was put to jail for a crime, but unfortunate that any of this ever happened in the first place. This is an extremely sad story, extremely sad situation for everybody involved, especially the people that have lost somebody. Derek Chauvin is now lost to his family. George Floyd's family lost him permanently. Derek Chauvin gets to live, but let's not forget the other victims, the people that lost their businesses and livelihoods across the nation while Black Lives Matter went out and decided to destroy everything in their path, that they decided to hurt other people because of an injustice that they saw in the George Floyd case. So, yeah, Dr. Elo, let's hit that like button. Somebody already did. Oh, we got a couple likes. Thank you very much. So I wanted to kind of hop on Twitter and let's get some reactions. Let's look. I would have jumped on earlier and gotten more hot reactions. Thank you, Nailbender. I know that was you. I'd like to get some. I wanted to get some like more immediate reactions. I was stuck at the DMV, or as we call it around here, the DPS, Department of Public Safety. My son's getting his learner's permit, so we had to go through all the rigmarole anyway. So it broke while I was in that office. I was like, oh, I would love to be able to live stream about this, but I can't. So now I came home, got all set up, and I'm live streaming. I didn't get a chance to get gussied up, but here we go. So let's go and take a look, if we can, over at Twitter and see what's going on the Twitter sphere. Let me bring this down a little bit. All right. So there's somebody named Devoid of Human Decency. The lack of emotions hints at he thinks he'll win an appeal and not pay for the crimes he committed. The caucasity. Oh boy. So we got a racist here who's talking about white people getting a free pass on stuff. Obviously, Derek Chauvin did not get a free pass. He was arrested for the crime. He went to jail for the crime. He stood trial for the crime, and he was found guilty for the crime. It has nothing to do with anybody's skin color. Mr. Devoid of Human Decency. Yeah, you apparently are. And the thing that they're talking about here about winning on appeal has everything to do with Maxine Waters and what she said the other day about, basically what she said pretty much tainted the jury. Even though the jury was, told by the judge not to watch the news, they weren't properly sequestered. So as a result, they saw those comments and were like, holy crap, I don't know if I want to be party to, escalating riots. Because that's what Maxine Waters wanted people to do. She wanted people to escalate what was going on already. The burning of businesses, the harming of other human beings in the name of George Floyd and justice. So yeah, there may be a case that he could win on appeal. There's absolutely a case he could win on appeal. And if he does, that's on Maxine Waters. That's blood on her hands. Because if he wins on appeal, you think the riots were bad before. Oh my goodness. So Stacy of the Big Melons said that Derek Chauvin is a murderer. Okay. Sorry. Being Bourdain. If you know of a business owner who disagrees with the outcome of the Derek Chauvin trial, name the business and boycott. So here's a great example of cancel culture. I've talked about this before. Hey, if you have an opinion about something and you think something was wrong and you say something, fuck you, we're going to boycott your business. We're going to make sure you can't have a livelihood because you have a differing opinion than me. That's a prevailing thought. That is a very common thought process nowadays, and one we have to find a way to stop. So baby boy Eli says yes. That's because Viola Davis, said rest in peace, George Floyd. You and your family have been vindicated. Never understand. Oh, here, this is good. Wait, first of all, let's get a closer look at this guy's picture. You all can't see that, but okay, I'm just kind of curious who this guy is. Somebody living in Amsterdam. He looks kind of white. Can't really tell. But he says, I'll never understand black people living and born in America. Why would you stay? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's the freest country on the planet. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe because they enjoy a life 10 times better than in most countries. Maybe. Emancipate. Free yourself. Leave the plantain house. The plantain house, guys. I love me some fried plantains. Fuck Massa. Leave Massa. Abandon stolen land. I'm not going to even try to respond to that last one. Using your analogies, Africa would be the greatest within 15 years. Exodus. Okay. All right. This is what a president should be. Smoking Joe, this is what a real president does. He injected politics into the George Floyd. Yeah, that's what a real president does. Injects politics into everything. Good. Thank you, Joe Biden, for injecting politics. Appreciate it. Now that Derek Chauvin trial is over, Representative Maxine Waters requests your presence in D.C. to rally, threaten, destroy, and demand justice for Ashley Babbitt, who was murdered by a Capitol cop January 6. All caught on video. Max will be waiting to let you in. Tuesday Thoughts. That's awesome. Yeah, that's never going to happen. And I like the Photoshop picture here. I think this is great. She is cosplaying like the Capitol rioters did that day. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. So I know I forgot to put this up there earlier, but Kevin, sorry, it may be Doge Day for you, but for everybody else, it's George Floyd Day, I guess. If you've marched for George Floyd or for Black Lives Matters, thank you. Okay. Didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the trial, but great. And you're making somebody extremely wealthy, just so you know. Good job, guys. Accountability, something Derek Chauvin refused to take. George Floyd's family had to suffer through the Derek Chauvin trial because he is a spineless, racist monster that tortured George while children and bystanders recorded, and thank God they did. Justice for George Floyd. So I don't recall anything about Derek Chauvin being a racist specifically. That's interesting. Just because he, was responsible for a man's death doesn't make him a racist. Makes him a bad person, sure, but a racist? This is why we can't use the word racist anymore, because of stuff like this. We bandy this word around, and now it has zero meaning. Absolutely zero meaning. I've been called racist before, and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. Being called a racist doesn't mean a darn thing. Mike says, I'm stunned. I honestly think the last year of protests helped this happen. No, it didn't. It did not. Well, it may have in a way. It may have scared the shit out of everybody involved in the trial into making sure, outside of the defense lawyers, obviously, making sure that, holy crap, I don't want to die. Can you imagine being a juror, knowing full well what has been going on the last year? Can you imagine what was going through those people's minds? They're thinking to themselves, if somebody identifies me as someone who voted not guilty in this trial, I'm a dead man. It's like trying to leave the mafia or rat out on the mafia. Put me in witness protection because I am a dead man. Regardless if the system works or not, I am a dead man. Yeah. He's white. Everything he does is racist because of that alone. Exactly. That's what the Marxist BLM movement likes to tell people. That if you're white, you're racist. That's basically it. See, Chauvin trial. Derek Chauvin was just convicted but there is no justice until we dismantle. And I'll read the rest of this to you because you cannot see this when I do it this way. But there is no justice until we dismantle law enforcement as we know it. That's a brilliant idea. You know, in places where they've cut funding for police officers, crime has gone up. Imagine that. That's kind of weird. Why would that happen? Very strange. I never shed a tear before a verdict that had nothing to do with me. I guess this time Mr. I don't give a fuck did. I don't understand this tweet. Guilty. Spell Derek Chauvin guilty. Spell police corrupt. Spell the BLM movement justice. No. The BLM movement is not justice. They are a Marxist organization who want to fundamentally remove everything that makes America great. That's what they want to do. You can finally rest in peace. What people still think that he was just one bad cop. The rest aren't discriminatory or racist at all. Okay, Mr. Rando. Yes, all cops are racist. All cops are discriminatory. Yes. Holy crap! I want to I want to confront one of these people, these human beings. I got to remember that this show is supposed to be about empathy. So I got to remember that ignorant people like this, you know, they say things like this and they just don't understand that. Nailbender by large mountains. So Rough Dog here says, white people still think that he was just one bad cop. The rest aren't discriminatory or racist at all. I get the sarcasm here. I can hear it in the typing. In the text, I can hear the sarcasm. This person is probably one of the same group of people that would go around and say, you can't paint all Muslims as being terrorists because they're not. But I can go around and paint all cops as discriminatory and racist and wanting to kill black people. It doesn't work that way, buddy. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite. Of course, we know the left is full of hypocrites. Justice is served. Guilty on all counts. Family watched the reading of the verdict. Trial from their home in Houston. H-Town represent. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Justice served with a skull, weird looking thing. Is this like a Iron Maiden album cover, I wonder? Is that Eddie T. Head right there? Who's all the way to the left? Who's all the way to the left? You? You're not all the way to the left. I've talked to you. You're not all the way to the left. Hey, just a little fun fact. Most people that think they're liberal, they're not. Just saying. They think they are, but they're not. Trust me, I've had these conversations. Guilty on all counts. What I'm looking for is just dummies, I guess. That's what I'm really looking for. Free Chauvin, Derek Chauvin trial. And the only reason they found him guilty is because of pure pressure. Grounds for verdict to be overturned and appeal is on its way. This person is really excited, in all caps. Yeah, so of course there's going to be an appeal. There's no doubt about it, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean he's going to walk for any reason. Derek Chauvin has been convicted of the murder. The second I got off work today and stepped into my house, this blessing graced my phone. The prosecution was what got this result. Well, that's a good point. That's actually a good point. Good job. Instead of saying it was the violence that got the, it was rioting and murdering and burning down shit that got this done. No. Now back off violent, racist, power-driven PD, or we will hold you accountable and behind bars. Again, are you painting the entire group of people with a brush? I bet you are, world citizen. Anybody named World Citizen is full of shit anyways. Just saying. This is terrorism. Derek Chauvin never had a chance at a fair trial. Our justice system was the last bastion between retaining this republic and anarchy. That is now gone. We are now in pure anarchy. Really? So unapologetically conservative. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh. Woke is weak. He just joined, everybody. Just joined. He's a big egg. He's just out there trolling. So, yeah. Love these people. They're so crack me up. Crack me up. Stop dividing America. That's what this says. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Let's start with social media first. Today is a win for black people everywhere. We finally got some sort of justice, and it doesn't stop with George Floyd. So what's really interesting about that, we finally got some sort of justice. You know, that justice is usually served in these cases. Usually is. When the evidence comes out and either they're charged, or if it's clear that there was no crime committed by the officer, and so people are, cops are put through hell every time there's a shot fired. Just a shot fired. You don't even have to shoot somebody. Just accidentally gun goes off. Yeah, you're probably going to get suspended for a little while there's a huge investigation. Your life is turned upside down simply because you're a moron that accidentally pulled the trigger. Like this woman in Minnesota who thought she had a taser in her hand. Boneheaded. Is she a racist murderer? No, she's not. If we're going to go strictly by video evidence, like we did with the George Floyd case, I think it's pretty clear that what she did was an accident. She should be held accountable, absolutely, but she's not a murderer. As always, when possible, ignore Tomi Lahren and Ben Shapiro, particularly in days like today when they're got literally nothing except racial dog whistling to do. Racism. I'm with Thomas Sowell on the topic of racism. Racism is on life support. Just being brought back to life by Marxists like BLM. Just before taking the field hosting the Minnesota Twins, the A's released a statement about the verdict. The jury's decision is an important step in addressing systemic racism, and we are heartened that there is accountability for George Floyd's death. Thank goodness the A's have a statement about this. I was really concerned that the Oakland A's would not have a statement about this verdict. So now I'm waiting on my Astros to do the same, and the Rockets and Houston Texans to all weigh in, because I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight unless they weigh in and tell me how they feel about this. Don't you love it when like major organizations, like as a whole, just like put out one gigantic virtue signal? To me, this was by far the picture of 2021, and that's Chauvin being taken away in handcuffs. A few words for the Derek Chauvin rotten hell, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to play that. Conservative moment. What? Okay, so y'all can't read this, but this is apparently a Reddit post. Derek Chauvin trial, if I'm getting all charges. And somebody smiling about it. I don't get it. Moving on. I don't get this. Moving on. She's going to have to kneel in a kente cloth so hard after this. Do y'all remember that? When the House Democrats all put on kente cloths and knelt in I guess it was in the rotunda. And people were like, people of color were like, the hell are they doing? That's appropriation. What's wrong with you people? If you don't follow Hotep Jesus on or Uncle Hotep on Twitter, you need to follow them, because they were just like WTF when Pelosi and her friends did that. They were like, Holy crap. You don't have any business touching that stuff, let alone wearing it and kneeling in the rotunda. Oh, these people. Would be the correct hashtag. Derek Chauvin trial. I wouldn't blame any officer who walked off the job today. The message to them now is if someone is black, you cannot shoot them or you will go to jail, even if your own life is in danger. There is a thread of truth to that. The thing is, we shouldn't be looking at color when we're trying to enforce the law, ever. Remember, Justice wears a blindfold, right? She wears that blindfold because Justice is supposed to be blind. Doesn't matter your color. Doesn't matter your color. You commit a crime, you're going to jail. You commit a crime, resist arrest, you might get roughed up a little bit. You commit a crime, you resist arrest, and you do something that looks dangerous, you're going to get killed. I don't care what color your skin is. It's going to happen. And when you are a part of a culture that exhorts violence, that raises violence to some sort of great status up on a pedestal, you sing about it, you talk about it, you glorify it. I mean, the cops are out there fighting for their lives sometimes. So I don't like any death, like I said, but it is what it is. So let's refresh this, see what we've got going on. We're going to go back into Derek Chauvin trial, refresh. We're going to go the latest. Why? Okay, this is ridiculous. Hey guys, Joe Biden changed the world today with the Derek Chauvin verdict. It says it right here. I told her this afternoon, Daddy did change the world. Way to go. Uh-oh. Meryl Streep has something to say. Let's get that crap. This isn't proof the system works. It's proof of how broken it is because it took us this long and this much attention. What do you mean it took us this long and this much attention? Most of these cases take years sometimes. A lot of these cases take way longer. This was actually pretty fast. You're not paying attention, people. That's actually pretty funny. How prophetic, I think this person meant to say. But think of all the people that Chauvin arrested for weed in Minnesota. Then his ass is found guilty on 420. That's pretty funny. All right. I think I got it all off my chest. I think I'm done. I think I've said my piece. I think justice was properly served today. That's my opinion. I think that the verdict is in jeopardy on appeal because of politicians who say things that they shouldn't say and get involved in things they shouldn't get involved in. Maxine Waters, Kerosene Maxine. And I don't think anything is going to change as a result of this verdict as well. This is not about cops killing unarmed black kids or unarmed black people in general, or any black person, armed or otherwise, because they do this to all races. It's you fuck up in an arrest and you're going to get hurt. The cop has a family to go home to. None of what happened today is going to have much of an effect because it's not the root cause. The cancer has not been eradicated. And the cancer is not racism. It is not racism. Racism is going to exist forever. For as long as there are races, racism is going to exist. There's no way to eradicate it. Just simply not possible. what is possible, changing our culture, changing how we talk to one another, changing how we embrace one another, even in our differences, not just skin color, but in our ideological differences. I get upset at people on the left, guilty as charged, but I don't wish them ill will. I wish them the best. We live in an amazing country where you can pretty much do whatever you want, unless you're hurting somebody, obviously. And so I wish every person to the left of me or who disagrees me the very best that life has to offer. I hope they achieve all of their dreams. That's pretty uncommon these days, unfortunately, that kind of sentiment. And until we address that as a nation, as a human race, none of these things matter. It's just going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to have riots. We're going to continue to have, disagreements that turn nasty and threatening and divisive. We can't change it with laws. We have to change it with our hearts. So that's all I got to say about that. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's show, you can support me on Buy Me a Coffee. I will be back tomorrow with a very special guest. I will be bringing on our good friend, the Impartial Geek, David Foster, and we'll be interviewing him live tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Central. Don't miss it. I think you're going to love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully maybe even, maybe a little not safe for work. We'll see. But I'm totally looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.